So today's video is my planner update for the month of May, which I had to stop and think about yes, it is May. Okay. I had to stop and think about what month it was. Hey everyone, welcome back. So this is also known as the month where the longer I'm in quarantine, the larger my planners get. So this is kind of an unusual size for me lately, but I'm not hauling these around anywhere, so I'm enjoying the extra space. I think I'm gonna start from the bottom and work my way up. Okay, so this planner you saw last month. This was where, and still is, kind of where I'm keeping master stuff for my YouTube, Etsy, blog, whatever, all that stuff. So mostly what I'm using it for right now, to be perfectly honest, is just where I'm tracking all of my finances, but also where I'm keeping, that's April, let's go to May, the breakdown of kind of my goals and projects and things. So if you watched my last video, you watched me kind of set this up. I have here in the front, go all the way back to the beginning, the annual overview. These inserts are from my shop. So I had my annual goals, and these I pulled from my power sheets. And I didn't bother filling this in my last video. I went straight to the... Now I did make a bypass by the quarter page. So I put down transferred my annual goals over, my word of the year, went to the quarter 2 page, kind of broke down my annual goals into quarterly objectives, figuring out kind of how I was going to move those goals forward this month. And if you watched the last video, I recommend you go back and watch it because I talk a little bit about why. But Productive Flourishing, whose momentum planner these are loosely based off of, limits you to 5 projects per quarter, per month, per week, and per day. And I talk a little bit about how not all projects are projects as you think of them. Some of them are just major life circumstances. So some of those are included in here. They're not directly related to an annual goal. They are just a major life thing that I'm going through right now, as most of us are. And then I broke them down into monthly objectives for May. You come to May, I moved those forward so I wouldn't have to keep flipping back and forth, and then I've started breaking them down by week. The other thing I include on the weeks, in addition to projects, is major events. So things I might have to plan for, like Mother's Day and that sort of thing. There we go. Okay, so just a quick flip through in case you've missed the previous setup. Most of the stuff in here is from cloth and paper. I will mention if it is not, like this vellum here is actually from Michael's. And if I don't mention it, I probably don't remember where it's from. But all of this stuff in the front is from cloth and paper. I don't think I have anything in there. This is either from cloth and paper, it's something I got on Amazon. More cloth and paper. I have a 2020 overview calendar, the beginning of my goal setting and search with the annual and quarterly pages. And then I have months. And I've changed the setup a little bit. You used to go straight into the financial information, but I've gone ahead and put the monthly pages in here. If you buy these, you do get both the double-sided and a single-sided version. I printed them single-sided here, so that way each month can be separated out. So I have the month, I have my finance tracking, and that's pretty much it for each month right now. I had, if you watched my last video, put in like weekly pages and stuff. I'll show you where those ended up rather than in here. So yeah, so this is kind of how it's set up. There's not much to it here in the front section. And then at the end, after December, I just had like a quick to-do list thing. This is all just blank paper for me to move around. I had kind of an overview of Etsy tasks, of things I wanted to do, video topic ideas, some blank spots. This is last year's financials. These are the other inserts that I have in my shop. They have a 12-month cash flow, and that information is fed into by these income and expense pages. I did include 2 pages per month, so there should be 24 of them. I used 1 page per month and it was plenty, but I never know how much people have, so I went ahead and put 2 pages per month. If you don't use them, you can pull them out if they're blank on both sides, and then you have some extra ones in case you need them. So this is the information I put together to include with my taxes. And I just had some extra inserts from cloth and paper that I figured I would just use this year, because I can always print these out since they're mine. These are undated, so if you buy them, you can just reuse them over and over again. But I did kind of want to use what I had and use it up. And then I just have some more blank pages back here. Some stickers that kind of went with businessy type stuff. I may move these. Actually, I think I will move them because I will use them elsewhere. Because this is not really a stickery sort of planner. So quick note about this. This is kind of funny because this happened after. Last video, I think I was using kind of these pages as a page lifter, which didn't work very well. FoxyFix, I guess, is getting rid of all their vinyl inserts and paper and stuff like that. So I have been looking for sheet lifters for the A5 size, and I was really sad because I could not find them anywhere. I think there's like 1 or 2 stores on Etsy that sells them, and that's it. So on the off chance, because I did want other of the vinyl inserts, which I don't think I have any in here, I went ahead and ordered, they have like a bundle pack. I don't know if they still have them, but they were selling like a random bundle and it was by size. And so I went ahead and bought the A5 rings. I got like 8 of these and I was so excited because I've been looking for them and I was really sad that they were no longer listed on their website. So random note, but that made me very happy. And then I just have some blank paper and stuff back here. Back pocket, also mentioned in a previous video, I just have some thick like chipboard sort of paper back here to kind of give this planner a little bit of structure because it does get kind of floppy. So that's all that's in there. This, to be honest, isn't used all that much. I had intended to be working in it, but I will show you what I went to instead because it's, I don't know, I just like it a little bit better. So this is the planner that I am kind of doing most of that work in. I'll zoom in a wee bit. So this is a soft folio cover from Levenger, and it is like super buttery soft. It's actually very floppy with nothing in it. Like it just doesn't have a lot of structure. Once you start putting things into it, it actually gives it a little bit more structure to it. There is a zipper pocket here. I don't have anything in it. I actually still have the, I didn't even know that was in there, to be honest with you. I think I'll leave it in there because it does give it a little bit of substance. It's just the protective stuff that goes in there. And I just have some stickers and things from cloth and paper that just kind of matched. So this is kind of my working-ish sort of planner. I'll show you what else I'm using. I'm kind of undecided as to what I want to be in, so I'm figuring it out. Anyway, so the clear rings I also got from Levenger as well. I don't know if you can see those. Focus. Maybe? Anyway, so I got the clear rings and this from Levenger because cloth and paper was out of their clear rings. So cover I got from Poi and Hun because they were the only ones that had kind of a cover like this. I had something similar from ARC, but it had stuff on it, so I wanted something different. Crossbow printables still, as far as that vellum goes, and a different one. This was a freebie from the planner spot. Again, this was another of those like lots of cloth and paper sorts of things. This was one of their glass dashboards that I put here. Morning Mindset, this came in the last subscription box, which I actually really like these questions. And And so I'm trying to put it someplace where I'll see it during the day. I don't open this every day. I probably should. Just an inbox page that I put some sticky notes on. An actual thing of, you know, like notes for an inbox with some ideas that I had. I have this here as kind of a bookmark so I can flip to my table of contents. Obviously you can see I'm transitioning things as to what is going to be where. This was the other half of that crossbow printables, Vellum. These were printables, so I printed them on Vellum myself. Another cloth and paper dashboard. So this first section, obviously I still have not figured out my routines for side hustle. I hate that word, but for the lack of a better word, because it's not my day job. I still have not figured out what my routines are going to be. I kind of put that on the back burner because I've been brainstorming a goal setting series, which I'm sure you guys have heard me talking a lot about. And I'll go into a lot more detail. I'm going to be filming an intro video here shortly because I'm still finalizing scheduling and how often I want to post and what sorts of things. So all that to say, working on putting together a routine for, you know, YouTube, Etsy, and my blog, which I would like to start posting on again, and just other businessy sorts of things. I still need to finish that. I think this was a Happy Planner mini because it's one punch shorter than the half letter size. So I just had a couple of cards that came from cloth and paper, so I put them in there. This is a month at a glance, kind of just keeping track of some general to-dos that I have to do that month. And have them in here through the end of the year, plus some. Next up, I had a weekly planner. So this is actually where the weekly planning moved to from my other A5. So I was doing this fairly regularly. I have not set it up for this week though. And I did actually get most of this stuff done. I just didn't check anything off. So this next section is for YouTube. This is kind of where I'm keeping track of videos and things like that. This is kind of where I get into kind of a weird, like, how do I want best to do this? Because I'm kind of ending up in a hybrid paper/digital solution. So I know the other thing you've heard me talk a lot about is Notion, and I'm trying to figure out how best to film a video on how I'm using Notion. And I think it's gonna have to be a series of videos because Notion's one of those super powerful solutions that is not like set up for you out of the box. So I like it because I have a background in database design and programming, and so I kind of understand how things can be put together. So I want to do an overview so people understand what can be done, but then do like more deep dives into the different pieces so you understand what I'm doing and why for people that want to potentially do the same thing. So anyway, a lot of my video planning and stuff is done part in here, part in the next thing I'm going to show you. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I'm doing at the moment, planner-wise. I'm in a state. So anyway, I had some ideas here. What were these? Oh, I think that was like a schedule sort of thoughts. These are just quick notes. They were originally, I think these actually came in my A5 box from Foxy Fix. I cut them down. That's why they're like a smidge shorter. I like trimmed the sides in and then just punched them for the discs, and so that's why they have like weird hole punching. Because this was stuff I was brainstorming on. So yeah, just more kind of brainstorming as far as things I might want to, videos I might want to update. I think that was the start of my goal setting brainstorming, which moved into Erin Condren. That's the next one I'm going to show you. This is the Etsy section. These were inserts I'm working on. There are multiple steps involved in these, and so I try and batch process as much as possible. Usually what I do is, like, I'm sitting down to do it, I'm usually doing 1 or 2 months at a time. So I'll sit down and then I will generate the file, I will export it to one file format, the intermediate one before it goes to PDF, and then I'll export the image for the listing. And I'll do that for each one. So I do like 3 things, and then I kind of loop back around to the top, and that's when I export to PDF, create the actual listing image, and then I list it on Etsy. So I kind of have like 6 steps, but I do them in sets of 3, if that makes sense. Anyway, probably doesn't matter to most of you, but because of how I'm doing that, that's why I have these. I'm kind of keeping track of where things got left off. So these Ds mean that I left the listing in a draft stage the last time I went through it. And it looks like I've gotten all the way through the 2-page per days for June, but I have not started on the 1-page per day. So that's just kind of how I'm keeping track of stuff. I have a page here for Etsy customs, just so I understand where those are. Just some blank pages, brainstorming. These are from Holly Nichols illustration. She's on Etsy. And then I just have some blog brainstorming ideas that are in here. And just some empty blank paper here at the back for notes. This is actually from Levenger. If you're looking for really nice paper, they have really nice paper. Just a few things that I stole out of my Happy Planner Mini. Some random stickers and things back here. Something is stuck. There we go. Some extra paper. Just a couple of cards. More brainstorming stuff, and then just a picture of me and my husband, because I wanted to have that someplace where I could see it. So this is kind of an intermediary. So I'm moving between that and this, which is an Erin Condren Deluxe Monthly. So I'm kind of liking working in this. So I'm kind of in flux. I have not decided what the division is going to be between these two yet, and where this comes into play. Because I may just punch these for discs and stick them in here and call it a day. I don't know. Not to knock stuff off my desk. Anyway, so let me just show you what I'm doing in here. So this is the kaleidoscopes. This is not the most recent one that just got released. I do have one of those, however. But just to show you kind of how I'm using them. So this is April. So these are the ones that flip open to the dashboard. So I am using the monthly goals section. This little spot here is using for custom orders. And then on the monthly page, I'm using, which I actually, oh good, that's actually a pen. I'll check that off because I did do that. I have a pencil that looks a lot like this, and so I'm always like, is that the pen or the pencil? I can't tell. So on here, I'm just using a mild liner in red, just to make a little checkbox, and this is when I was making note of when I posted videos. I did not end up using the notes pages here, but I am on this last page using this kind of for a wrap up for the month. So I do actually really like this. So I'm going to repeat this for May. So this is what May is looking like here. So I have kind of a to-do list mind sweep sort of a thing. So there's a company that does a lot of like punches and things like that. Might be American Crafts. It'll probably come to me later. Anyway, they have a punch that has a punch that you can use for the Erin Condren size things for discs. It's a little tedious because it does like 4 spaces at a time, but it's okay. For putting this in there, it was what I needed. So again, I have monthly goals. I have custom orders spot, and then I just put an odds and ends sticker that I had left over from, I think, a Planner Kate kit there, just kind of as a spot to put additional things. So this is May. And things are still getting moved around. So I am now using an orange, which the red and the orange look very similar. You probably can't even tell the difference. I barely can. Red is for YouTube, orange is for Etsy, just as far as things that I need to do. And then I have an F here for when I want to film things. And then I can actually just close the end of the F and make it a P for post. It's my way of reusing sticky notes. And then I can just kind of move them around so I know what day I want to do things on. So today is the 6th, and I'm filming my May planner update. So as far as these pages, I don't have anything in here. I'm not entirely sure what I want to do with them yet. Part of me is thinking about drawing a line down the middle or dividing them up somehow and actually using them in lieu of these weekly pages here. Wherever the weekly pages are. These. So making them look a little bit like this. I'm kind of leaning towards that because then it would all be in one space. So, I don't know. I just kind of make it like a pseudo horizontal planner, but it would just basically be a week on one page. That's kind of the thought I'm thinking right now. Obviously, I haven't done anything with it. I have a sticky note that lists the stats that I want to keep track of on these pages, and I can just move it forward each month, and I can cross through and change it, and that way I know what I want to put down there. And then I did have a few things out for June. Nothing for July. But all the way in the back here, in the notes section. So this is where I've been doing a lot of brainstorming. So I have kind of goal setting, ideas, brainstorming. I was trying to divide them up into what's a goal setting, what has to do with breaking goals down, what has to do with actually getting stuff done. So I'm trying to find a logical way of dividing all of this up. And then I was outlining kind of the goal intro video. If we flip back here to the productivity style, I have some notes that I made on SEO and keyword, SEO, keyword, and content planning. This should actually still be on YouTube. It's from Miss Trenchcoat, Strange and Charmed. So her channel, this was from April 18th. So it was actually a really good workshop if you're interested in going back and listening to it. And then this is kind of my trying to make sense of how I want to handle the whole Notion question for you guys. So that's what I'm doing. It's mostly just kind of brainstorming things back here, making notes, laying videos out. I am sometimes doing to a point on paper, and then I transfer it into the computer where it's a little easier to rearrange stuff. So that's kind of the point that I'm at for this goal setting series. I've transferred all of this into Notion, and I've kind of making it into more of an outline and dividing it up a little bit better and adding additional notes. It's a little easier to do that in the computer, but I brainstorm initially better on paper. So that's kind of my dividing line, brainstorming on paper, and then it gets transferred onto the computer when I actually need to be able to manipulate whatever it is. These are from a while ago. I have pulled out as many of my old Erin Condren stuff, as much of it as possible, so I can continue to use it. And then I don't really have anything back here. These, unfortunately, are no longer coming with the planners anymore, but I did have some extra ones from some old planners that I kind of deconstructed. So I stuck one in here just so I had it. So that's how I'm using this. So yes, it is a little strange that I am going to Erin Condren, but it's kind of back to Erin Condren because that's a little bit where I started before I went with the smaller planners. All right. And so this you probably have seen a lot more of. So this is my Erin Condren Petite Planner, but it's also kind of a Franken planner. I basically put it on discs, and the gold discs are from Poi and Hun. I originally had them on, when you saw my clear cover planner that's in here now, it was originally on gold discs. I moved them to here because I just liked the brighter gold. So this is just set up kind of as a normal petite planner is. I did actually take the page that you saw in the other planner where I'd broken stuff down, and I moved it into here. I did rewrite it, so now it's all in blue ink because I'm kind of strange like that. But because I am working in this more on a day-to-day basis, that's why I put it in here, so I have it to reference. And I only have this page, so it is important for me to have the quarterly and monthly objectives in here, because then it's all together for me to reference. So how I have this set up, I've kind of have reached a rhythm, I think. Yep, so this should be fine. So I will go ahead and set up the entire week all at one time. I have 3 categories: wellness, work, and home. Wellness is kind of just like personally related things. Home is more like cleaning and general house care. And then work is obviously work stuff. I do have this section set up as a timed area. So when I originally ordered these from Planner Kate, I ordered the ones that went here because that was my original intention, but then I realized I don't have as much going on that's timed, so I moved it to here. So I actually make this work. I cut off the 6 a.m. and I cut off the 7 p.m. and then these join together right at noon. So this is actually working really well. I like this. I'm tracking my workout for the day. I'm doing bar blend from Beachbody right now, and having taken 8 or 9 years of ballet when I was a child, I think I quit right before I went on point. It was something I really enjoyed. I left it for horseback riding. What can I say? But I am enjoying my return to that, because the last time I did ballet was in college. I took it as a kinesiology class. That was also the same semester that I hurt my knee the first time, and that was I heard it in my soccer kinesiology class, and therefore could not take either final because I was on crutches. So that was fun. Anyway, so Wednesdays I'm usually working on my Etsy, YouTube, etc. So work, I have work-KB, and this is kind of where I'm keeping track of the stuff that I want to do for that. I am using one of these ARC, I guess it's about a half sheet, just kind of as of this week with running tasks that don't have to be done on a specific day, but I don't want to write them down and then move them forward every day, so I just stick them on that. So, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I have set up like this. I usually don't have much of a schedule, so if I have anything, I will just make a note. Because I wanted a little bit of color, I put them on sticky notes. Sometimes I just write them in. Let me see. So this was a few weeks ago. You can see I just wrote in times. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I am doing it. I put down, so my church is splitting their services. Normally we do a 10:15 service, but while they have the option, they're doing a contemporary service at 9 and a traditional service at 11 now. I have not decided which one I'm going to go to yet, so I put them both down. And I will make a decision on the fly, probably dependent on what time I get up. So anyway, so yeah, that's pretty much how I have it set up. I have a few things written in for June. We shall see if they happen. I don't know. And then back here, I kind of made notes on what my setup template is. So the things that I want to put under wellness every single time, work obviously is blank. Under home, I usually will have a weekly task based on the day, which is this. And then cleaning the kitchen in a 5-minute pickup, and then any other personal to-dos. And then this is kind of my basic weekly schedule that I have going on right now. And then my quarantine routines. So if I want to know what's in my AM or PM routine, it's here. And I just have a post-it flag on it so I can find it quickly. I also cut the top off of one of these so it's not as tall, and I'm using that as well. And then this is my work routine while I'm working at home. It's slightly different from the office. And then I just had a couple of extra blank pieces of paper. And then here I have the wellness log section. This came from the Happy Planner. I had printed it and half cut it out. I went ahead and finished cutting it out and punched it. I have not done anything with that yet. Obviously I haven't filled anything in for this week, so I will probably just skip it. And then the next section I have back here is the gratitude section. And I just kind of fill this in as I want. I am still using the 5-minute journal. And so a lot of my gratitude stuff is going in there instead of in here, but this is here in case I want it. So that's pretty much what I'm using right now. Honestly, I think what I'm trying to do mentally, without realizing it, is transition into these two things. Now, I mentioned I ordered an Erin Condren. So the reason I did not order the hourly Erin Condren in neutral is kind of my jam. That's the thing I like. I did not order one last year because she got rid of the half-hour lines, which I really do need because it seems like invariably most of my appointments start at 12:30 or whatever. So that's why I did not order one last year. However, I ordered that on launch day, and then I got to looking at the Daily Duos, which are honestly, I mean, this is the size. It's honestly not that much bigger than this. I mean, it's just a little bit bigger, taller, a little bit wider. And the Daily Duo I actually think would be great for work. So yeah, I kind of went back and ordered the Daily Duo too. I have not received that yet. It's still printing. I have a feeling they had a mad rush on those, and so they're having to produce more inserts for the Daily Duos before they can send those out. Because I ordered that 2 days later than, and still not even for public launch. For the EC Insiders, I ordered that on the last day, kind of toward the end of the day, and I still haven't received it. And I got my hourly planner on Sunday. Today's Wednesday, so it still says printing. So we shall see when I get it. So I think that's kind of what I'm going to be moving to eventually. Like I said, I'm at home quite a bit. It sounds like my company is going to be not doing a mad rush everybody back to the office immediately sort of situation. So continuing to work on a larger planner I think is going to be okay. This is a great setup. I really like it. Although I am finding that I'm running out of room. Like, I could have used some more space for work tasks here. So that's why I'm kind of trying to evaluate. This is good for what it is right now, but I think as my life picks up, I think I would like to have that Daily Duo. Again, I'm not having to draw on the layouts, which is the other thing that I really like. So anyway, hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, leave them down below. Still looking for suggestions on questions you have for the goal setting series so I can work those in. Send them in now because this is my chance to kind of work them in. Even if I don't respond to those comments, please know that I'm reading them. And usually you can tell if I've read them because you'll see like I click the little heart if I don't respond to you. So that way you know that there really wasn't much for me to add to the conversation, but I wanted to let you know that I did see your comment. Anyway, other thing, if you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. I mentioned in my last video, as I've been looking more and more into YouTube and how all of this works, any sort of engagement on my videos helps, whether that's a comment, if you feel inclined to comment, if you like the video, heck, even if you dislike it. It's engagement, and for whatever reason, YouTube likes that. I do too, full disclosure. So anyway, and I do have, as I mentioned, more content similar to this and also goal setting and Notion coming up. So if you're interested in seeing any of those, please subscribe and hit the notification button so that you know when that shows up. I do generally also make an announcement on my Instagram channel when I've posted a video, so feel free to follow me there as well. And you usually get sneak peeks of what I'm working on and the things that are going on behind the scenes before they get shown on the channel. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you in the next one. Bye.